Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. Rocket sirens sounded across central Israel this morning for the first time in months. Hamas says it fired a rocket attack toward Tel Aviv today, a first in 4 months. The IDF says at least 8 rockets were launched from Rafah. Earlier today, around 200 aid trucks started entering Gaza through the southern Kerem Shalom crossing after the U.S. and Egypt reached an agreement on that. The Rafah crossing, which had been the main point of entry for aid, remains closed right now. On Friday, the top UN court ordered an immediate halt to the Israeli military offensive in Rafah. And this week, 3 European countries, Norway, Ireland, and Spain, will move to officially recognize a Palestinian state. Riyad Mansour is the Palestinian ambassador to the UN, and in a Canadian exclusive, I asked him about the International Court of Justice's decision, the path to a 2-state solution, and what he wants to see from Canada. Ambassador Mansour, thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. The International Court of Justice on Friday ordered Israel to immediately put an end to its military operation in Rafah. As you well know, the court doesn't have any kind of police force to enforce this. So I wonder what your expectation is in terms of the impact it will have on the ground.
It has a moral, massive power. And all of us who are party to stopping the crime of genocide from taking place accepted the mandatory judgment of the ICJ. So it is our duty, all of us, including Israel, which is a member, including us,
yes, and
we are a member as well, to implement the orders of the ICJ in this regard. And today, the order from the ICJ is telling Israel to stop the military operation in Rafah, to open Rafah crossing, to allow for humanitarian assistance to take place at scale, to stop the forced transfer, whether inside Gaza or outside, and also to allow international UN bodies to enter the Gaza Strip and to conduct freely and independently investigations about potential crimes of genocide against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip, among other issues that they raised in the order that the ICJ adopted today. And they gave Israel 1 month to report on the implementation of these orders.
Let me talk about the other sort of big development that happened last week and will happen really officially next week, and that is Norway, Ireland, and Spain officially recognizing a Palestinian state. Why do you think these countries are choosing to make this recognition now? How significant is that for you?
It is very significant. These countries came to the conclusion that they want to invest in peace and saving the 2-state solution. The dominant thinking was among Europeans for a long period of time, wait till the negotiation is completed between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and then issues of recognition and admission will follow. Now, there has been shift in that thinking, and many European countries, and there will be more, who are saying that this is the time to invest in peace and saving the 2-state solution. Instead of waiting until the end of the process, let us recognize the state of Palestine, admit it to membership at the beginning of the process as an investment in peace and saving the 2-state solution. We appreciate that, and we're grateful for that. We expect more countries in Europe and in other parts of the world, including in Asia, and here I'm referring to New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and South Korea. These 4 countries voted among the 143 countries that voted in favor of the resolution adopted, asking the Security Council to reconsider the admission of the State of Palestine. It's very unfortunate that Canada abstained on that resolution and did not join the other 2 sisterly countries, New Zealand and Australia. Yes. We will continue courting Canada. We believe that Canada should also follow the same path. We had good constructive discussions with their representative as we were negotiating the language of the resolution, which was adopted in the General Assembly,
yes.
United for Peace, by 143 countries versus only 9 countries that voted against.
You know that was a shift, of course, for Canada even to get to the point of abstaining in that vote. There was a shift in policy. But I do want to ask you about President Biden, who obviously supports a two-state solution, but he does not believe that Palestinian independence should come as part of a negotiation. It should come, rather, as part of a negotiation between parties, not through this unilateral recognition that we're seeing from other countries. How do you convince the United States to move in that direction? And what does it mean for the U.S. to say, we don't think that this is the right way forward?
We disagree with the United States in that formulation.
Yes.
Recognition of states of other states, this is unilateral. It is sovereign right of any state to recognize any other state. All those of you who recognize the state of Israel was unilateral and was a sovereign right of you when you decided that you wanted to recognize the state of Palestine. So when we have Spain, Ireland, and Norway to act normally in the same manner as they acted with Israel, there is nothing wrong with that. This is congruent with how countries behave on the basis of their sovereign right to make decisions, including decisions of recognizing other states.
Right.
Now, with regard to the United States, this approach was tried for a long period of time. It was tried since Oslo, more than 30 years ago,
yes,
to have the recognition of the state of Palestine and its admission at the end of the process. Now we don't have a process, and the situation is much worse. It doesn't make sense to continue trying something that did not deliver and did not succeed, expecting different results. Now, European thinking is shifting, and also global thinking, that let us recognize the state, admit it to membership at the beginning of the process, while we are willing and ready to negotiate all final status issues, borders, Jerusalem, refugees, settlements, water, and so on and so forth, between us and the Israelis. But let us be equal, two equal states, member of the United Nations, negotiating all the issues that they should negotiate in order to end the occupation and to implement the global consensus on the two-state solution, which Canada is supportive of this global consensus.
How does it, Ambassador, though, complicate things right now, things that are happening right now, and that is a ceasefire, the release of hostages, the humanitarian aid entering into Gaza? How does the potential of recognizing Palestine as a state complicate negotiations with the Israeli government on getting a pause or an end to the war right now?
It doesn't complicate anything, because the Israeli government does not need these reasons to continue on what they decided to continue with this war of aggression forever. For selfish reasons, for Prime Minister Netanyahu, who wants to continue the war, to wreck Israel and to destroy the Palestinian national rights in order to survive his political ambitions to remain a prime minister. So he is refusing all efforts by everyone, including American efforts, Egyptians' efforts, Qatari efforts, UN efforts, in order really to reach an agreement on having a ceasefire and also releasing hostages and detainees and prisoners. He is the one who is refusing to allow that to happen for his own selfish reasons. So the recognition of the state of Palestine is, if he wants to use it as an excuse, he doesn't need excuses. He is declaring that he is not going to stop the war.
You know that this decision by Spain, Norway, and Ireland has angered many people inside Israel who don't believe, obviously, that the recognition should happen before this conflict has been resolved and before Israel is involved. In fact, the Israeli foreign minister said that this was in some ways rewarding Hamas. What do you say to that, and to the people who do not want to engage in any conversation with Hamas?
Well, they see that they are, using excuses for anything that is happening to attribute it as being hostile to Israel. This is, addressing the issue of the entire nation of the Palestinian people, to recognize us as a state and also to allow us to be admitted to the United Nations. The
But do you
war
think
has to
that
be stopped.
yes, but do you think, Ambassador, that Hamas should be involved in those conversations?
Which conversation? There is representative for the Palestinian people
Yes.
and the state of Palestine, headed by President Abbas, and at the UN, I am the ambassador of all the Palestinians representing the Palestinian people at the UN. We are the interlocutors with those who are ready and willing to engage with us in the international arena, in the Security Council, in the General Assembly, in all global international organizations to reach peace. Peace requires this occupation to end and to implement the two-state solution, living side by side in peace and security on the borders of the 4th of June of 1967, with East Jerusalem as being our capital.
Ambassador Mansour, you're a very busy man. Thank you for making the time for me, sir.
Thank you for having me.